It is a scam when you don't allow everyone to operate on fair terms.
We are the Robin Hoods of sports betting. We take something back from the rich bookies and enable our customers to beat them instead.
G'day everyone, welcome to episode 7 of Sunday Streams with TradeMate Sports, where we answer your betting questions, discuss both new and old betting strategies, how to best use the TradeMate Sports software, and welcome on guests from the betting industry. But today it will just be me. No guests today, so start firing in any questions you might have for me today. I've just come back to all of this after a nice little 2-week holiday. So I am very, very unorganized and I have absolutely no plan on what to talk about today. So I guess I'll just have to make it up as I go. But if you guys want to steer me in any direction at all, or like I said earlier, ask any questions, then I can be steered in the direction that you guys want to go in. I can obviously go through my TradeMate results, which I kind of do every stream, and that can kind of get things started, I guess. But Carl says, "Morning, Alex. Good morning, mate." For those who don't know, it's Monday morning where I am. It's not Sunday night, so nice, bright and early at 5 o'clock. Got my black coffee, ready to rumble. Chip Plyer says, "How about Clippers -7 versus the Knicks, mate?" I'd never watched a game of NBA in my life, so I'd love to help you out there, but I wouldn't have a clue at all. Not much of an NBA man at all. Carl, different presets would be good for me. Currently using about 6. Right. Let me have a look at what my presets are. So basically, what I can show you is that I use the exact same presets as the article that we sent through. So let me see if I can send you guys through that on the chat. I'm also half watching the Arsenal game, so I might be distracted here and there, but to be honest, there's not much to play for, so I probably won't be distracted at all. Maybe you'll just hear me hurl a bit of abuse every now and then. So yeah, there's the main presets that I'm using, and then on top of that, I have. Sorry, there's just a few things here. I just need to make sure it looks fine before I show everyone. All right. So because I am, let me just share my screen. Sorry guys, I'm very, very unorganized. Okay, so because I am in Australia, obviously, I can rarely bet 8 hours before kickoff because I don't really stay up that late here. So I've set a few presets up for the early kickoffs. So this is the first one I've got set up. So edges from 2.5 and above, 8 to 12 hours before kickoff. And that's the odds range there. And I use recommended leagues for everything. Then you got very early soccer, which is 12 to 20, bit more of a minimum edge there. I'm not sure. I think I've run these all through the big data tool, but not very thoroughly, just because I know we have an edge on soccer. So it's not something that I really am too fussed about running through the big data tool, because I know how efficient the soccer market is. So early news was another one I set up, which is like days before kind of thing, so 18 to 48 hours. But that's a 7% minimum edge. You can probably go smaller than that, but I think I've run that through the big data tool there, and that's a really profitable segment. But I rarely get many trades there. I think overall, like this is a good thing to be doing though. Like it's not in our recommended presets, but I really do recommend trading a lot earlier than what we normally say, which is like 0 to 8 hours. I definitely do recommend yeah, trading a bit earlier and opening up your presets a bit more and trying to snap up some early news, I guess, rather than just your standard 0 to 8 hours. Sorry, I'm just gonna drag the Arsenal game over here so I can half see it. And then the other presets I have are tennis. I've showed these many times before, so you can have a quick look at them. That's like fully researched, big data tool stuff that you guys can use if you want, especially with the Aussie Open coming up. But I don't bet on like the challenges or the ITF tournaments, just like the big ones where it's not going to look too suspicious. That's the other one. You got the Aussie Open one. This is my like Grand Slam tournament for the men's Aussie Open. This one's a bit more open because it's just a lot more efficient, I guess, the market when it comes to the Grand Slam tournaments. And then the rest are kind of just exchange ones. And I don't really want to give away my exchange ones at the moment because, I mean, for obvious reasons, but the biggest one is just that, I spent a lot of time doing simulations and stuff like that. I think I shared last stream, I shared with you guys exactly how I went about those simulations and tried to give you guys, all the tools possible to do them yourself. And yeah, I guess I just don't want to give away any edge that I've found there because that's something I can capitalize on for a long time and not have to worry about bookmaker restrictions or anything like that. So yeah, but the big thing is with trade, mate, is that I hit a massive, massive downswing. So I don't know if this has happened while I've been doing these streams, but it probably has, but like not this significant at least. So I think I would have left you guys last time. Somewhere around here, I'm thinking I think I was pretty close to my EV, maybe somewhere around here. And then from there, it obviously had a really great run. And then it would have been about a week and a half ago. About a week and a half ago, let's say 10 days ago, hit highs of, it's 12,000 profit, which, I was absolutely stoked about. For once, I was overachieving. I was running above my closing EV, as you can see there, the green line. And then I just went on the downswing of all downswings. I mean, this was the worst part. It was this was just one day. It was rough. I was very, very rough. I just woke up and saw that I'd lost just about every bit. Let me see if I can let me just zoom in. So you guys can see a bit better. So yeah, you can kind of see that. I don't want to highlight it, but this kind of line here, this was basically like one day. I think it was maybe last Saturday or something. But I mean, that's a loss of, that's over. So about 12-ish thousand all the way down to 6,000. So probably just lost just under 6 grand in one day. It was pretty rough. It was a bit of a shock. But I mean, it's just kind of what can be expected with variance and all these kind of things and value betting. And it's not really, I mean, although I've, racked up 4,313 trades, like for me, it's just that number's like pretty insignificant. I mean, I barely even look at that number, to be honest. I'm just looking at this number constantly and trying to build on that as much as possible, and I know that will build as long as I'm just consistently going into TradeMate and placing trades. So I guess most people will look at this and say, like, what are you thinking, kind of thing, like, but like this is kind of just like, I wouldn't say run of the mill stuff, but it's very like possible. These are very possible problems that can occur when you're value betting. And like, I've hit way worse periods than this. I mean, I've been down $2,000, whereas currently I'm up $5,000. So it can be a lot worse than this. And I don't know. I've said this probably a couple times before, but I actually sometimes I feel better when I'm running below my closing EV. Probably not by this much, but when I'm down by a decent bit, I sometimes feel okay about it because I know the only way, or at least the most likely way, that I'm going to trend is upwards from here on. So, things to do during this time. I mean, for me, I don't really do much now. It's kind of just like, another day at the office kind of thing. But for people you know, that are just getting started with TradeMate, or, they're just getting started with value betting or whatever, and they're not really, they're just not able to deal with these losing runs in the best way. I think the only way you can get yourself through these times is kind of through, I think that it's just through education and understanding that this can happen, understanding that it's kind of a lot of sports betting is luck based. You might have this huge edge, but a lot of it can just be down to luck at sometimes, especially over small sample sizes. So I think the best thing you can do during a long losing run, or a big losing run like I've had the last week or two. Sorry, just watching the game. Is to educate yourself. So I mean, we've obviously got all sorts of articles on our website or on our blog that you can read about variance, about the law of large numbers, all these kind of things that you can read. The best thing I think you can do is read our ebooks, which gives you a general picture about the whole of TradeMate and the whole of value betting and exactly how to deal with everything. So there's that. I think for the more advanced people, for the people that understand all these concepts and are educated and have maybe been using TradeMate for quite a few months or even years, I love doing those variance simulations that I've showed you guys plenty of times. If there's someone here that hasn't been around for those variance simulations, let me know and I can show you guys the tool. But I think that kind of puts it into perspective for me, at least. Sorry, I just had a bit of fluff. It kind of just shows gives you just basically an exact percentage of how likely one downswing is, or the percentage of losing over a certain period of time, and it just puts in perspective, I guess, that it might say there was a 5% chance of that happening, but I mean it's still a chance. Like that's the 5% chance is the equivalent of a 20-to-1 horse winning a race, or you know what I mean? Like the 20-to-1 obviously is unlikely, but it still happens. So yeah, Tom says 6K in one day. Yeah, I would say roughly something like that, maybe a little bit less. How many trades was that? Well, on a Saturday, the most trades I'll have open is probably about 50. That would be the most. So Sorry, I don't know how Arsenal didn't score there. Yeah, so probably about 50. Maybe I'm exaggerating it a bit. Maybe it was over 2 days or over the weekend. So yeah, maybe just like 100, 150 trades, like a pretty vicious downswing, like, essentially losing every bet that you put on. So yeah, it's I mean, it's a good little ego check, I guess, too, because I was at the stage where I was overperforming my closing EV after going on. If you look at my results again, one sec. Oh yeah. I'd spent so much time below my closing EV, so many trades. We're talking how many trades basically until I broke through 3,691, something like that. And I finally broke through, and you can kind of feel like a bit, like, yes, I've done it. I've achieved everything. Now it's just going to be smooth sailing from here on out. It's a good little, it's a good little ego check and a good, it's just a good reminder of what I'm trying to achieve here, what everyone should be trying to achieve with TradeMate, and that's just it's not about small sample sizes. It's not about a couple of months. This is a long term thing. So this is this graph is about 7 months old now. So 7 months I've done this many trades. I've made that much profit. People might say that it's not really worth your time. I mean, I can understand that, but for me, I know how much randomness is involved in this, and I understand that this is the only number it's the only number I really care about. And I've been so happy with this number lately because the last month I was checking before, so it's the 10th of May today, isn't it? Yeah. So if I go back to the 10th of April and look at how I've been going since then, and I've racked up $2,714 in EV in a month. And for me, that's just absolute gold. And my average closing edge hasn't really been that high. I think that's just because I've started using the exchanges and the edge isn't as high there as it is with the soft bookies. But like, if I'm theoretically supposed to make $2,700 from sports betting with TradeMate every month, like, for me, that's a laugh. Like, that's way more than I can dream of, because, or at least expect, because I mean, I have a full-time job and I get this on top of it, and it's not like I have to go to much effort to use the software at all. It's all there for me to do. And like, I just log in, see what to bet on, bet it, done. There's no looking around at who's got the best odds, or all these kind of things. I just simply log in. This bookie's got this wrong, place the bet. So in terms of time spent and money earned, for me, although people will see that I haven't made any money lately, or at least I haven't made much over the 4,000 or so trades, for me it's a no-brainer. And so overall, I just think if you educate yourself on all these concepts, exactly what value betting is, how TradeMate works, all these kind of things, then you'll understand that, yeah, this is good fun, and then in the long term, you're gonna have a laugh and make a decent profit. All right. So yeah, if anyone got any more questions, feel free to send them in. I don't really have too much more to say on my results so far, I don't think. Just having a look around if there's anything interesting that I can talk about. I mean, could talk about one sec. Could talk about how if you look at the average ROI for so I'm at a 1.1% ROI, but then if you look at my flat ROI, it's negative 0.6%. So for people who don't understand what that means, oh so that means that if I'd placed, let's just say $10 or $1 on every single bet, that would be my ROI. So it's basically just flat staking. So no matter how big the odds are, no matter how big the edge is, always just placing the exact same stake every time, and that would have ended in a negative ROI. So I think that's quite interesting. So I would have been down about $2,500, whereas now I'm up about $5,000. Um, so I think that's interesting to kind of show you guys the difference between flat staking and and Kelly staking, and why we recommend Kelly. And this isn't just like me getting a bit lucky with Kelly or something like that. Like, this is something that we've seen over time with all of our user results, that the best way to be staking your sports betting is to be using Kelly, and using 30% of Kelly. Um, so maybe that's something interesting you guys might pick up on from my results. I mean, I don't really think there's much more to talk about. I mean, people might think it's like, wonder why I never talk about EV. So the difference between EV and closing EV is the EV line is the edge that I had at the time. So when I placed the bet, here we go. Oh, oh, tell you what, Arsenal should have a few more goals than they've got so far. So EV is the edge at the time, or it says average edge placed. Oh, West Brom scored. Well done, Arsenal. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's the best way to explain it. And then by the time that the game has kicked off, my edge has diminished down to 2.7%, I guess, is the average of what's happened there. Oh my god. Ceballos, you are a disgrace. Sometimes you wonder why on earth he's playing Ceballos is just beyond me. Anyway, sorry, someone said Nick's made me more than any team this season, and Bucks over, I guess what you're saying. All right, awesome hoops. Well, hopefully, mate, those can. Are you using Trade, mate, or you got your own system? Let me know. But yeah, that's good. I don't know how maybe I can go through just some individual sports and how I've been going there. Maybe that might be interesting for people. Why don't we go with? We can start with ice hockey, eh? So ice hockey was going really well. I think I maybe showed you guys these results a while ago, but then I went on that massive downswing, and I guess a lot of that downswing was thanks to ice hockey. So now I'm losing just over $1,000 on ice hockey, but it's small sample size, so we'll see how that pans out. One thing I have noticed with ice hockey is I've been landing quite a few big odds ranges. As you can see, I'm kind of overachieving on these ones. It's kind of in the smaller odds ranges where I've been losing out a bit. But yeah, anything kind of around that, what's that, 4.75 to 5. I've landed a few decent winners there, which has been nice. So, I mean, but it's all small samples, isn't it? So, yeah, but so there's ice hockey. What about basketball? Basketball lost grand there. That's over 819 trades. So yeah, I guess my American sports haven't been going too well. What else have we got? Baseball only just got started, so there's probably going to be a few trades there. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to read into there. So I guess it's I would say soccer and tennis is where I've been making most of my coin. What was that again? Is this tennis? Yeah, this is tennis. So yeah, tennis has been going really well, and I think overall it's been going very very well for TradeMate users in general. Like I've been looking at some of the results on the like the monthly articles that we put out, and it's been superb. Like the ROI is just incredible. I think last month was like 10% or something like that. So tennis is just it's got to be something that everyone's got to be implementing into their betting. It's not the most efficient market, definitely not. So you need to be smart about the way you approach it and do your research. But yeah, there's money to be made with tennis, definitely. But I mean, still, it's not even a sample of 500 trades. So yeah, shit can happen. Soccer, yeah, made a couple of grand there, but I think, oh, okay, so it wasn't really American sports that was my downfall. It was soccer. I've just had a bad little run, and I mean, this is basically my graph, isn't it? Like it looks essentially the exact same as my overall results graph. So, um, yeah, because I guess the soccer is the sport I bet most on. So yeah. So I got someone sending a message here. Connor says, "Nice work, mate. The videos are brilliant. Some nice profits as well. The core software is great value. Would it be possible to hear from the pro users in future videos?" Yeah, so I think if you go back to, I did a few customer interviews at the end of last year, and I interviewed a few guys who maybe not a few guys, maybe just one guy who was using Pro. Let me have a look at exactly. Let me show you guys exactly who that was. I think it might have been Andreas. Sorry, what number interview was this? Oh, that might have been the first one we did. Oh, geez, sorry guys, I'm very yeah, I think it's this one. So if you go down, and it's the thumbnail with €25 profit, 25,000 euro profit. I'm pretty sure it's that one. He was using Pro. The Australian fella, I don't think he was using Pro. And then this one, I don't think he was using Pro either. I'd mentioned their names, but I can't. Some of them didn't want their names to be mentioned, so I don't. I'll just stay on the safe side and not mention it all. But yeah, that is. I'll go check them out. But that one of them, definitely the first one, was using Pro, mate. and maybe watch that third interview too, and I'll mention obviously throughout the interview if he is using Pro or not. And yeah, see how they were going. But is there any if you've got any questions, mate, send them through now, Connor, and more than happy to answer any questions that you have about TradeMate Pro. As always, I've probably said it a few times now, but if you want to know, if you want to get the ultimate guide to TradeMate Pro and kind of how it works and best ways to use it, etc., then read this article, which I will send in the chat now. And have a read of that, mate, because that's I guess that's the best thing to use. But the problem is, mate, I could get on all sorts of people that are using TradeMate Pro and talk to them about how they use it and stuff. But if I was being questioned by me or coming on this channel about my use of TradeMate Pro, I would not be giving away much at all in terms of I don't know, presets or best ways to use it, or to help people out in any way like that. Because the good thing about TradeMate Pro is that your edge is, or using TradeMate Pro and betting with the sharp bookies and the exchanges, is that it's a long term edge that you don't get limited on. Like it's fully sustainable. I mean, sustainable in the sense that you'll always be able to get money down. So if you've been able to find an edge there, then you're not going to go and tell the world about it, because these are limits, or these are bookmakers where you can continue to bet with them and they won't ban you. So yeah, I think you're probably not going to get too much out of them if they do come on and want to talk. I mean, if it was me being interviewed, I wouldn't. I like I showed you guys before with my presets, I don't really want to share my presets I'm using on the exchanges just yet, because I don't really want to lose my edge to whoever ends up watching this. So yeah. But yeah, send in any more questions you guys have. I can wrap it up early. I'm just watching the Arsenal game. There's some guy from West Brom and his last name's OK. Interesting. Never heard of him before. What a last name. Yeah, next week and the weeks coming up, I'll get some more guests on, so you don't have to listen to me talk about TradeMate all the time. Try and mix it up a bit. Try and get some more interesting guests on other than me, and yeah, talk about anything sports. But if you guys got any guest recommendations or anyone maybe from podcasts we've had on in the past that you'd like me to get back on, let me know and I can try my best. I think I've got a few people in the pipeline who are keen to come on. It's just a matter of finding a date that works for everyone. So yeah, should have some good guests coming up in the near future. Tom Payne says, "Have I tried Harry Findlay?" I did. I mean, I've obviously heard some of his podcasts before, and yeah, he's a fun man, isn't he? Very fascinating fella, and speaks really well, and is an interesting guy to listen to. So I've tried, trying to find his contact and stuff like that. But if you guys know any like Twitter handles or someone's got their hand on his email or something like that, I'd be, more than happy to get in touch with him. It's just been a matter of trying to find his contact. I obviously haven't tried too hard, but yeah, I've had him recommended a couple of times by people. Connor says, "That's brilliant, mate. The articles are very helpful. I completely understand you cannot give any edges on the sharps. Is it using the simulations how to find the edge on the sharps?" Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the first step, I think, is to run lots of simulations on the big data tool and see how people have been going on the exchanges and the sharps. The problem is that a lot of the time the sample sizes will be quite small. So it's hard to get a real big read on whether there's an edge there or not when we're talking about smaller sample sizes. So yeah, I think that's a good starting point, and then from there, I think in general you need to have a lot more of a you need to have a really good perspective of or understanding and education around betting and how it works, and I guess what bookmakers are sharp on, what sports, uh, common things you might see on the exchanges. I guess all these kind of things, like it's hard to. I mean, I'm probably talking like quite with a lot of ambiguity, but yeah, it's called TradeMate Pro for a reason because people using it, should be very, very advanced in their sports betting. You shouldn't be. You can use TradeMate Core blindly, can't you? Like you could literally not know a thing about sports betting and make a lot of money from it just by using TradeMate Core. But for TradeMate Pro, it's a completely different story. I think the best way we try and explain it to people is that it's a tool. It's a very handy tool for a professional sports bettor to have. Um, there's hundreds of bookmakers signals that you're going to get on there uh, with no work of your own other than having to pay a monthly subscription. You can set it up how you like. Um, you can use different benchmarks. So if you find something, like if you somehow figure out that SBO or the exchange wanted Betfair as like a better closing price than Pinnacle or another bookmaker, you can set them as your benchmark and bet from that. I mean, obviously that's not the case generally, but there might be a certain sport where you think that Betfair are sharper or something like that. So like I said, it's a tool, and it's a tool that should only really be used by advanced sports bettors, not someone that's just gotten into it or used TradeMate for a couple of months. I think you should be pretty experienced. Carl said maybe get a guest who is in the top 5% of TradeMate users profit wise. Yeah, I mean the people that I interviewed. Sorry. Oh God. The people I interviewed initially, or the people I asked if they wanted to come on the channel and talk to me about their use of TradeMate, they were all people that had placed the most, or who had placed the most trades with TradeMate over time. Here we go. Come on. God. So yeah, I guess they were the people that I thought would be the most valuable to talk to because they placed the most trades with TradeMate, have had the most experience. So, I mean, a lot of those guys are kind of a part of the top 5%. I mean, Neil, like someone like Neil, is probably in the top 5% in terms of profits made, if not probably like the top five. I don't know. So, he would be someone that's very, very useful to listen to. And yeah, I guess most of those three guys I talk to are very valuable to listen to too. So yeah, I'd say Carl, but yeah, we have had a few of them, mate. But I mean, I'm always, I've sent out quite a few emails to those guys who are in the top echelon of TradeMate users, and most of them, they don't get back to you, or I don't know, maybe my email goes to the junk or whatever. I don't know. I mean, they essentially giving up their time to talk to me. So yeah, I don't blame them for ignoring me. They probably don't even know who I am. They probably think I'm some kind of scam. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's a good suggestion, Carl, but I'd say we've already had a few of them, mate. So I mean, Ryan's another one, smart sports trader who's been using TradeMate for a while. But yeah, so I think, Carl, you've just gotten started, haven't you, mate? And I assume you're just using TradeMate Core. So like this, yeah, if you just breeze around our blog, and I think this is I think the ebooks is the best thing you can read, but if you want a bit of a shortcut, uh, I think this is by far the best article to read. And that's just going to get you going off to a flying start, and it gives you all the articles, the most important articles to read and stuff like that. Yeah, because with TradeMate Core, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, you don't need to know that much to get going, mate, and make a decent profit. So I think it's just all about mentality, really. If you're willing to ride through losing runs and not get too excited when you win a lot of money, then you'll be successful. But if your plan is to stick around and take it, or if your plan is to take it month by month and day by day in some cases, then I don't think you'll last too long, because you'll get affected too easily emotionally by the results. All right. Last chance to send in some questions. But if you've got nothing else, then I will wrap things up. For those, on the stream at the moment, it'd be superb if you could give it a little like, and, maybe tell a few friends about it if you think it's half entertaining. Probably not that entertaining, just watching me sit here half interested watching Arsenal and talking shit about sports betting. But yeah, give it a like. That would be much appreciated. Connor, good question. Do you use accumulators if you're betting on the core? Yeah, I think I've showed that before, but I can show you guys again the preset that I use. One sec, I'll get that up. So what I do is I do like doubles on. I do doubles on the low odds ranges. Sorry. All right, here it is. So yeah, any odds between 1.1 and 1.45, 1% edge to 100, and 0 to 8 hours before the game. And all I do is I just combine them into a little double. And I put a max stake on it just because the edge will be quite big or decent big because I'm combining two together, and also because the odds range is so low. So the problem with doing the accumulators is figuring out what the correct stake is. But I can pretty safely assume that if I'm combining edges of 1% together, so let's just say it's a 2% or 2.5% edge, and it's an odds range of, once you combine them together, like 1.6, something like that, then then it's going to be a pretty safe bet to to be finding or to be staking correctly. Oh my god, you wouldn't read about it. Willian has scored a goal for Arsenal. Not many people thought it was possible, but he did it. Oh my god. Arsenal, they're a sad case. What a signing. What a signing. And of course, it was a free kick. It couldn't be anything else, could it? All right, sorry, I'll get back to this. Do you ever bet in play? Oh, no, I don't bet in play. And most of that's just because I can't, because I'm in Australia and we have laws that prevent in-play betting. You have to call in to place in-play bets. So I could only, I can bet in play because I have access to, because I use Sport Market, which is a betting brokerage, which gives me access to the exchanges and the I guess Pinnacle and all these other sharp bookies. So I can bet live, like always, or not always, but whenever there's a big UFC card on, I'll place a few live in play bets. But yeah, that's the only real time. I don't use TradeMate. TradeMate doesn't do live signals, so no, I don't use TradeMate for that. So no, but good question, 13 Gibney. But yeah, we don't do live, live value betting or anything like that. It'd be very hard too because it goes. It's a fast paced market, so even if got an edge up for a couple of percent or whatever, you're gonna have to be bloody quick, I reckon, to snap that up. Even just using TradeMate on the exchanges pre-match, like a lot of the time, it's I'm way too slow to get there. Even if I get the alert up straight away and go to it, it's you have to be bloody quick. But all right. I think we can call it a day there, unless you guys got any more questions. I'll give you a few 30 seconds or so to send through any more questions. In the meantime, I can watch the great Arsenal romp home to a victory against West Brom. Huge victory for the boys. How do I deal with variance, losing runs? What the longest you've been on must put most people off. Yeah, mate. I talked about this quite a lot at the start of the stream. So maybe just rewind and have a look at that. But I think the best thing is just educating yourself, especially if you're getting started. If you've just gotten started, you need to educate yourself on all these kind of things. So read about variance, read about the law of large numbers, these kind of things. But if you're someone like me and's been doing this for a couple of years and understands all that and doesn't really need to know anything more about it, then I like to just use simulations, variance simulations, bet simulations, and it just gives you a bit more perspective on how probable or how the possibility, the chance of you going on a losing streak, the chance of you being a losing punter, even with an edge. Sorry, even just looking at things like what are the chances of me being a winner if I don't have an edge? I can send you guys a link to the website that I use to run these simulations. So they're called Sports Betting Calcs. There's the link there. And that's where I go. And I think if you go to betting tools, there's one called Bet Simulator. Yeah, down the bottom. And that's what I use. And I've used that on plenty of streams here. So if you go back to maybe one of the first one or two streams I did of Sunday streams, and you've got no idea how to use it, how to use the oh, here we go. If you've got no idea how to use it, then I give like plenty of demonstrations there on how I've used it. So that's what I go to nowadays. I mean, to be honest, most of the days I just keep going because I'm used to it, and nothing's gonna make me feel better or worse. So the only thing that makes me feel better or worse is just is placing more trades and just getting a larger sample. And you said this must put most people off. Yes, hence why I don't know how to put it. Like people it's interesting because I don't know if this is like a confirmed thing yet, but it's a trend that I've noticed lately, is that when I do a monthly article and have a look at how we've performed over the month overall, when the ROI is like overall, when the ROI is like 1-2%, something like that. I don't think it's ever really been 1%, but maybe if it's like low 2% for the month, there's a lot more people quitting. Whereas if the ROI is like 3% or higher, then then for the month people stay around. So all you guys know who hang around on this channel, who follow us closely, the podcast, whatever, literally all we ever talk about is, or a lot of the time all we talk about is closing EV and the long run and long-term investment and all these kind of things. Like it's, I couldn't tell you how many times I've tried to highlight the importance of the long run, but people just don't care. Like, I mean, obviously a lot of people do. Maybe there's probably like 1 to 5% of people who come across our software are actually here for the long term. But to be honest, most people are here for 1 month, and then they just judge after 1 month. And if they're not winning after 1 month, they're gone. And I've said it a million times. I think if you're doing a 1 month subscription, like one it's it I mean, it depends on your situation. I think you should only be doing a 1 month subscription if you are unsure of your maybe your financial situation, like it's a bit hairy and you can only really commit 1 month by month, or if two, maybe you're like running out of bookmakers or something like that, and it's got to the stage where if you do purchase a quarterly subscription, you could get into like 1.5 months into that and be like, oh, I've got no bookies left, they've all limited me. So yeah, if you come in with a quarterly subscription, it kind of forces you to think more long term. And I just think overall, like if you're the minimum amount of trades that you should place with TradeMate if you want to use it effectively, I don't know, 5,000 maybe. Like you're leaving a lot up to risk or luck. Sorry, you're leaving a lot up to luck if you do it for a short amount of time, if you're very short term driven. So yeah, Connor, Arsenal for Europe. Do you know if there is a site or tool to find out what percentage of the public are betting on a particular side? I don't, mate. But I think if you use a tool like TradeMate, you can kind of tell where the sharp money is, because TradeMate moves, or Pinnacle or these sharp bookies exchanges move with sharp with sharp with sharp money. So if I'm seeing that Arsenal have dropped from 1.8 down to 1.7 in odds, that's because someone with a big bankroll has just gone and stuck a ton of money on them. And if it's with Pinnacle, then it's most likely a sharp better. So that's a good way to find out. And I wrote an article about 2 years ago about how I think that a lot of the time we're probably betting with professional bettors. We're probably not getting the same price as them because they're the originators. They're the ones that are getting the odds first. But I think we're like kind of getting on the back of them, I guess, in a way, like steam chasing. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of the time your bets are the same as a professional sports bettor, except probably just a lower odds, so less of an edge. Do you have problems getting your bets on staking limits with bookmakers for winning accounts? How do you get around this? Yeah, so I've probably got about, I can get the exact number of how many bookmakers I'm using with TradeMate at the moment, because my problem is that we don't support too many people, or too many bookies from Australia. But let me just have a look at what how many bookmakers I've got. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About 9 bookmakers, but 2 of them are exchanges, so we'll just rule them out. So that's 7. One of them, 2 of those bookmakers use the same odds, so we can make that 6. And I'd say about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Unibet have completely limited me. So, yeah, you can rule them out too. So let's just say I use 5 bookies at the moment. And 2 of them I'm partially limited on. And the funny thing is that one of them I'm not even profitable with at the moment, and one of them, the other one, I'm like broken. Oh no, I wouldn't be broken even actually with that one, because I bet with it on my old account. But yeah, I've got basically 3 Australian bookies who have never, or they have, but I don't think with TradeMate they have. But I'm betting on recommended leagues, so my accounts are lasting a lot more. So yeah, I don't know if that I haven't really answered your question at all. You said yeah, so sometimes you can have staking limits. Obviously, it will happen eventually. I think accumulators are a great way to try and proof your accounts and make them look a bit stupid. We've produced so many videos on how to get around it, but I think the main ones are betting on recommended leagues. Accumulators, I think, are awesome. They'd probably have to be my main tips. Maybe even stake, so it doesn't look like you're arbing. These kind of things. There's so many videos and articles we've done about this, about staying under the radar and stopping gubbings and all that kind of stuff. Could you make a full-time living from this? Now that's an interesting question. Yeah, I reckon you could, but not for long. From TradeMate Core, at least. From TradeMate Core, I'm talking about. I reckon you could make a full-time living from TradeMate Core, depending on how much you're happy to make. But if you're happy to make like a minimum wage job, I reckon you could do it for however many months. I couldn't tell you how many months. It just depends on when you're going to get limited and how many bookmakers you've got. In the UK, it's probably a lot better. From Australia, it'd be a bit tough because we don't get many. We haven't got many bookmakers supported from here. But yes, I would say that yes, you could, but it would be a short amount of time. I'm gonna in the future, I'm gonna be going part time, I think, with TradeMate and going part time sports betting. And yeah, maybe that'll be an interesting thing for you guys to follow and see, like, deriving some kind of income from TradeMate and how much I can actually make on a part time kind of basis. But if you divide that, how much EV I think yeah, what am I at now? 12,500 EV over 7 months. So divide that, and you've got roughly, just under $2,000 a month in profits or EV, whatever you want to say. That that's a part time job for a lot of people here in Australia. And they were like, and 5 to 6 months of that I was staking bit low, like not high enough, so I wasn't racking up as much EV. Whereas the last month, as I said before, I racked up $2,700 or whatever it was in EV. So if I'm doing that every month, then that's certainly a part time, not an amazing part time wage, but it's probably above minimum wage here in Australia. So yeah, but that's part time. That's not a full time living. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some insight. I babble on a bit. What is the best part about being a sports trader? I don't know. It's just fun betting. If you enjoy sports betting, but I guess the best part's just making money. Yeah, good question. I mean, if you're fascinated by this stuff, that's also a really really interesting part of it. Like, if you're interested by market efficiency and variance and you know accumulate, like, go. I don't know. I think maybe the best part is just like almost going against the grain a bit. Like, most people don't think you can make money from sports betting. So I think just the sense of like achieving profit, or achieving like great results that most people can't do because they don't have the mindset to open themselves up to that possibility, or maybe they're just too lazy. I mean, lazy, that's a bit mean. Like, maybe they just don't really care or whatever, like they just do this for fun. Maybe that's exciting. I've given you a few things there at least about what's the best part about being a sports trader. And Carl says, I'm on 350 trades, only 4,650 to go. Then yeah, mate, good luck. 350. I feel like you only started last week, so you've done bloody well to get in that amount of trades. We do have some users who place like 500 trades a week, which is just insane. But power to you. All right, let's call it a day. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As I tried to conclude before, please give it a like if you enjoyed today. I'll be back next Sunday, of course. I should be with a guest of some sort, but hopefully notify you guys of that beforehand. So yeah, give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Leave any comments you have after the stream, and I'll be sure to answer them in the coming days. And happy sports betting. It's good to be back, and hopefully we can keep the ball rolling with this stream. Catch you guys later.